Honda Ridgeline, my favorite truck, but this one seems to have a headache. Ooh, ouch, that hurt. Got on my email here, looks like Honda is sending us a 2022 Passport, all-wheel drive TrailSport. I think it cost a bit more than the basic Honda Passport. Got a lot of standard equipment here. I'll scroll down and show you. Ooh, leather trim. Let's go down the second row. More goodies. $42,970. That's a lot of dough. Let's see if there's any options. You know they're always going to find something. Alright, platinum white paint. $395. They always have to add something. And here's the total fee with all the shipping and handling, $44,660, but with a base Passport starting around $38,000, it's really not that much more. And here's where it's made for those who like buying an American. Here are the crash test results if you're planning on running into a tree anytime soon. By the way, I also had some other Hondas, a 2022 Civic and a 2021 Honda Accord Hybrid. I'll link for those videos coming up at the end of this video. Just click and watch and you'll see 3 tests instead of 1. Alright, we opened the garage, wheeled it out, and here it is with the $395 extra metallic paint job. Looks pretty nice. And here's the TrailSport emblem to let everybody know you forked up the extra money. And here's our side and rear view. The only engine offered is a 3.5 liter V6 putting out 280 horsepower hooked to a 9-speed automatic transmission. They were choice between 2-wheel drive and all-wheel drive as we have here. Fuel economy for the 2-wheel drive is 20 to 25 mpg, 19 to 24 if you get the all-wheel drive. And we looked under the floor, and yes, there is a spare tire. We checked for that too. I would hope there's a spare tire if this is designed to go off-road. These second row seats do fold down, increasing the storage space from 41 cubic feet with the seats up to 78. Is it 78 or 78.5? Oh well, close enough. According to the Honda website, if you get 2-wheel drive, the ground turns to 7.5 inches. If you get all-wheel drive, it's 8.1 inches. I don't know if these larger tires will increase it over 8.1, but 8 inches is more than enough for light-duty off-roading. And we'll go inside the cabin where we see TrailSport floor mats made out of rubber for easy cleaning. TrailSport headrests. The first thing I want to talk about is the shift mechanism. Instead of a stick or a knob, we get push buttons, and a lot of YouTubers don't like push buttons, and their main complaint is they have to take their eyes off the road to see what they're pressing, and that is just total nonsense. It's the opposite, which is true, because this is specifically designed to be touch feel. If I blindfold myself, I know I'm on P for park because it's flat. If I go down with the indent, I know I'm R for reverse. Come up N for neutral. In this square here for drive. It's almost impossible to get the wrong gear. I don't need to look. It's a stick shift where you have to look, and on top of that, with a stick shift, you can put it in the wrong gear by accident, and you have to put it in park manually when you turn the ignition off. With this, it's almost impossible to put it in the wrong gear. Plus, when I turn the ignition off, you'll see it went direct from drive to park. And what about shifting manually? Yes, you can do that with many of the shift sticks, but on a Honda, you also have, if you want to choose gears manually, we have pedal shifters on the steering wheel. So why would you need a stick shift on the column or on the console? You don't. Overall, the push-button transmission control is the best system around. I would like to see them on all vehicles. Maybe someday. Let's switch over and go to one of my complaints. That involves a sliding cover over the storage bin and placed in between the seats. I might say to yourself, wait a minute, if you don't have this, you would have a cover that pops up, pops down, gets in the way, falls down, people in the back can't reach him. Isn't this superior? And yes, functionally, it is superior to having a lid. That's the good news. That is until the drink you have here spills on this and goes in there. And once it falls in there, you ain't never getting it out. Especially if you're naive enough to open this to get some cleaning supplies. Now it's all gone in. It's going to be there forever. If you like eating in your car, that goes for all the breadcrumbs and stuff that gets on here. If you got kids in the car, you know this is going to get contaminated and you're going to get more stuff in there. If you do not eat in your car, you don't drink in your car, you don't have any kids, you'll probably be okay, but otherwise I think this is a very, very bad idea. Now going to the rest of the vehicle, the glove box is medium-sized, adequate. These sun visors slide back and forth to block out sun from the side windows. On some vehicles you can't do this, amazingly, but we can do it in the Honda here. Climate control is about as simple as it gets. 8-inch touchscreen with all kinds of goodies and controls to program your vehicle the way you want it. Vehicle. Put the transmission in reverse. This is what you see. Nice resolution. The auto dimming mirror does have a disconnect switch. We'll be talking about that on our night drive. And here's the gauge cluster. And I put 32 miles of city commuting, getting 16.9 mpg. However, in the fleet for 1,688 miles, we're averaging 22 mpg. That's a lot better. A lot of people have complained about the interior quality of materials, and this is pretty cheap plastic. It's not becoming for a $44,000 vehicle. They really could have done something a little bit better with this, but they didn't. Maybe next year. I was happy to see we get map pockets on both sides. And here's another issue. If we're going to have an emergency brake, it's a lot better to put it on the floor where it's out of the way, away from the console and your other controls. That's the good news. The bad news is they put the thing right where your leg is, digging into your thigh. What's up with this, Honda? I think I've seen this issue before in other Hondas. Can you move it over a bit to the left or further back? I'm a bit slightly overweight by 10 or 20 pounds. If you're overweight by 50 or 100, I think you might have an issue with this. Better go sit at one of the dealer showroom and see if it digs into your leg. Alright, enough show and tell. Let's go out and do some driving, and the power steering is very nice. Decent feel and feedback, responsive. No complaints. With these larger tires, I would expect a bit loss in ride quality, so let's see what happens when we take some of these speed humps at 15 miles per hour. That's number 1. Smooth enough. Number 2. At 20 miles per hour, still smooth. And the nasty bump. Hang on. Not bad at all. With 280 horsepower, pulling 4,200 pounds plus, this isn't a rocket. But it does move quite well. Listening to that Honda racing technology coming through under the hood. Perfect brakes. This Honda's a nice highway cruiser, good for long trips, and I'm looking at my computer getting 24 miles to the gallon, which I think is pretty close to what the EPA claimed, isn't it? Well, it's good enough for me. This V6 engine has a lot of torque if you rev it up, and more than adequate for climbing these steep hills. Again, no complaints. This Honda is not a race car, but does pretty good when taking corners on backcountry roads. Probably because of these bigger tires. It certainly doesn't hurt. I got freaked out from that warning buzzer and orange light, but it's just a windshield washer level low. We'll have to take care of that. One test I like to do is take a vehicle on a washboard road like this with all these nasty ripples and bumps See how the suspension and body structure holds up, and we're doing pretty good here. Keep in mind, this vehicle has over 6,000 very, very hard miles on it, driven by a different person every week, which is equivalent to like 40,000 miles for a conventional person use. One thing to keep in mind, this does not have low range gearing nor locking differentials, so while this vehicle is capable of going off-road, it's light duty use only. Don't be chasing any Range Rovers or Jeep Wranglers up rough trails. You won't be able to keep up. But this wasn't intended for rough stuff like that. So what's my take on this Honda Passport after a week of driving? I wish they'd upgrade the interior components a little bit, but other than that, I really don't have any beefs, and overall, it's a pretty nice vehicle. If you're looking for a daily commuter that's reliable, can go off-road on occasional light-duty chores, this will certainly do the job.